Moderation is important because we need to develop a common understanding of what assessment and moderation looks like for our group of learners. Glasgow is a very large local authority. There are a wide range of contexts within Glasgow. There are standalone schools, there are all-through schools, and there are units, and there are some schools that provide a city-wide provision. So we need to develop a consistency in the language of the milestones and also a common understanding of the use of the continuum of engagement and what we actually mean when we're using those terminologies. Moderation for pupils with complex additional support needs would be the same process as you would have for pupils who are working within a mainstream setting. You would still be following the moderation cycle. It's be all part of the learning, teaching and assessment process. Moderation is particularly important for the milestones because children with complex additional support needs are going to make such small steps of progress that the teacher actually has to be able to identify these small steps. Progress can be slow, it can be spiky, and we need to be able to identify these small stages. Also, it's important to be able to discriminate between whether the pupil is responding to the lesson or the activity or whether they're responding to the individual that they're working with. What we're doing in a group of 4 schools within Glasgow is we're looking to get teachers together, and what we're doing is we're looking at developing this understanding of the milestones. We looked at a particular activity where a teacher was doing a good morning session. She had planned this activity, this lesson. She'd identified the experiences and outcomes that the pupils were going to be undertaking. We then asked the teachers within the room if they were able to look at these notes to see whether they were able to identify where the pupils were that were involved in that lesson were within the milestones. We then took that a little step forward to see where they were on the continuum of engagement, and then we asked them to try and identify what types of support the pupils were getting within that. I think initially staff found it quite challenging to understand the language that was used within the milestones, but they're becoming more familiar with them, having looked and worked through the literacy and the numeracy milestones, and over time you can actually see they're developing their confidence in the use of the language. And what we're trying to do is introduce that into any time we're feeding back to parents at reviews or in school reports, that we're trying to use the language of the milestones to make sure that not only the staff are aware of it, but the parents are actually become familiar with this language as well. Our next steps in using the milestones are to continue to develop people's confidence in working with the milestones. So one of the things that we've actually set up is that we're going to have peer observations within classes and across schools, and within your observations there'll be a little bit of video taken within those observations and identifying a pupil to focus on, and then repeating that activity to look at how can you identify where that child is within the levels of, are they working in foundation level, are they working in early level, and what are they touching in the milestones, are they reaching those? Then look at continuum of engagement and to see where they are within that continuum of engagement and to see what types of support they get within the activity. Again, that would hopefully develop staff's confidence and in talking about the milestones, but also in their becoming more confident in their assessment as well. Other than that, we haven't actually changed our planning to reflect the milestones at this point because we want to make sure that our practice is confident enough. In Glasgow, there's an opportunity to start using iPads in the future to start to gather the evidence and to track progress, but we haven't actually focused on that at this point because we felt as if it was the most important to develop our understanding first of all.